For the university, 1983, in a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, February 4th, Dr. Stephen C. Beering, Dean of the Indiana University Medical School in Indianapolis, was named President of Purdue University. The search for a new president had been underway for 14 months. Don Powers, President of the University Board of Trustees, introduced Dr. Beering at a press conference a few minutes later.
We're extremely happy and proud to have him as the 9th president of Purdue University, Dr. Stephen C. Beering. It's all your show.
Thank you very much, President Powers. I'm indeed privileged and honored to have been asked by the trustees to serve as Purdue's 9th president. I accept this responsibility humbly because of the enormity of the task, but gladly because it is an exciting opportunity to make a difference. With the help of the splendid faculty and staff that exist on all of Purdue's campuses and of the thousands of Purdue alumni and friends across the world, I shall dedicate myself to create an environment that fosters individual excellence in order to achieve and maintain institutional greatness. President Powers, I am indeed flattered and honored, and I hereby formally accept once more this enormous challenge and opportunity, this gift of trust that you are giving me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
President Beering was scheduled to start full-time on July 1st. In January, students participated in the annual phone-a-thon and raised more than $190,000 in pledges for the university by talking to Purdue alumni and friends across the United States. For Purdue basketball fans, it was a season of second-half comebacks and victory-deciding shots in the final seconds of the games. At the Illinois game in Mackey Arena, Purdue was behind 62-61 with 16 seconds to go. Dan Palambizio made a 15-foot shot, which put Purdue ahead 63-62. With 4 seconds remaining in the game, Illinois made a frantic try for a basket. Purdue won by 1 point. In the Iowa game, the score was tied with 6 seconds to go. Steve Reed shot a three-pointer as time expired to halt Iowa 60-57. The Boilers finished the season with a 21-9 overall record and tied Illinois and Ohio State for second place in the Big Ten. Purdue received a bid to the NC2A Mideast Regional in Tampa, Florida, where they beat Robert Morris 55-53 before losing to Arkansas 78-68. A new Cyber 205, the world's most powerful supercomputer, was put to work in the University Computing Center early in the year. It's located in a new underground addition to the 9-story Mathematical Sciences building. The supercomputer is one of 2 installed in American universities. Research problems that took days to work last year can now be solved in a matter of minutes. The opening of Phase 2 of Purdue's Industrial Research Park was recognized in a ceremony March 7th. The new area is located in West Lafayette, adjacent to the original park opened in 1961. The park, an alliance between education and industry, is part of Purdue's commitment to economic development in Indiana. Governor Robert Orr, acting Purdue University President John Hicks, and Indiana Lieutenant Governor John Mutz broke ground with ceremonial shovels. At the annual Day for Women, April 14th, Dean Emerita of Students Beverly Stone presented the Distinguished Purdue Woman Award to Dr. Patricia Albure-Graham, Dean of the Harvard Graduate School of Education. Dr. Graham is a Purdue alumna who became Harvard's first woman dean. The late Rube Goldberg was famous for cartoons of bizarre, complex devices for performing simple tasks. Theta Tau, professional engineering fraternity, sponsored a Rube Goldberg contest, Students were to design and build a machine that would fill a cup with water. Tony Frazora, a senior, and his friends originated and assembled the winning apparatus. The students had fun while developing their creativity and their talent for solving unusual problems. Final adjustments were made on the precision parts.
So wait, hair dryer on?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is how it worked. Bread was put into the toaster. Each segment of the apparatus had complex nomenclature like this one, which described the toaster. Meanwhile, the toast burned and triggered the alarm. Noise in the mic turned on power that started a motor that reeled in a magnet that released a ball that landed on a dish switch that started a timer that turned on a blower that sailed a boat, that triggered a switch that turned on a turntable that released marbles into a cup. That sank into a larger cup, that displaced water, that drained into a funnel and a cup. It worked. During Gala Week, the annual spring reunion time, Maurice Canoy, former president of the Board of Trustees and a member of the class of 1933, presented 2 mural paintings to the university.
With great pleasure on my part, I wish, on behalf of the class of 1933, to present these murals to the president of the university, Dr. John Hay.
Thank you very much, Maury.
The murals were painted by Alfred Pounders, professor of art and design at Purdue, with assistance from Louise Leskowski, a Purdue alumna. The paintings were designed for the walls of 2 stairwells near the entrance of the new undergraduate library. One painting shows the campus as it looked in 1933. The second painting represents the contemporary spirit of Purdue. Near the end of the spring semester, students in the Reserve Officers Training Corps marched for the President's Review, which was followed by an award ceremony. ROTC is available for all men and women full-time students who may want to earn a commission as an officer in the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, or Air Force. A sudden downpour soaked part of the processional for the first of 4 commencement ceremonies, May 14th and 15th. A record 5,200 undergraduate and graduate degree candidates participated in the ceremonies in the Elliott Hall of Music. The weather improved. Participants in the final processional for the class of 1983 enjoyed a beautiful day as they took the traditional path across the mall. The first Big Ten track and field championships for both men and women were held at the university May 21st and 22nd. Purdue athletes included Becky Cotta on the right and Nancy Stanford, barefoot, close behind. Sybil Perry, Purdue sprinter, is in the second lane from your left. Alvin McNair, right lane, was named Male Athlete of the Meet. McNair and volleyball player Jane Neff were later selected as Purdue's Athletes of the Year. Yvonne Netterville high jumped 6 feet for a Big Ten record. Jim Johnston later scored a second-place finish in the pole vault. The Boiler men placed 7th and the women 8th in the meet. The return of a canister containing 3 student experiments that had flown on the Space Shuttle Challenger attracted journalists to the campus in June. The flight culminated a 6-year effort that involved more than 100 students. In working on the project, students had gained valuable experience in dealing with science and engineering problems for space. Students opened the canister and found that 2 of the 3 experiments had not been activated. It was later discovered that a malfunctioning diode had prevented the electrical mechanisms from being energized. A nuclear particle experiment requiring no power supply had worked. Results of that experiment were still being analyzed at the end of the year. Space on the shuttle was a unique gift from Harold Ritchie, who holds 4 Purdue degrees. He has donated money to reserve space for Purdue student experiments on another shuttle. By summer, construction on the Technology Building was ahead of schedule. The $14.8 million building is at the corner of Northwestern Avenue and Grant Street on the site of the Michael Golden Building. It's scheduled for completion in March 1984. The new Life Sciences Research Building is located north of the Ag Engineering Building on the Agricultural Mall. The building is scheduled for completion in September 1984. It was a hot day in August when students moved into their dorms. Volunteers welcomed newcomers and helped with the task of moving. Although rooms were furnished for a scholarly life, 1983 students brought other essentials such as sofas, lumber, television sets, phonographs, and radios, in addition to clothes and books. Before long, meetings and classes were starting. Information for new students was available from a special booth. And the Boilermaker Special offered announcements and Purdue music. President Beering was busy in his new position. With Marjorie Ismail, Director of International Student Services, and others, he welcomed foreign students to the university. He welcomed incoming students in the Hall of Music, and he was meeting people and speaking at a variety of luncheons and other functions. He talked from his office for the Purdue Newsreel.
Purdue University was founded in 1869 in order to be the first land-grant university of Indiana and to be useful at this day. Today, after nearly 114 years, we have 4 new challenges. There are new students in terms of adult learners. There are new techniques, skills, and information. There are new kinds of ways of teaching, such as the computer and television, and there are new locations which were patterned after our agricultural extension system in terms of our regional campuses. Our students earlier this year showed yet another new challenge, and that is that the university of the 21st century is going to live in the space age. And as you know, we had a series of experiments on Challenger 7, the space shuttle. I was so impressed with this that we adopted this as our motto for this year, and you will be seeing the logo of the spaceship blasting away from Earth into a starlit spacescape, illustrating our theme, Touching Tomorrow Today.
A variety of research projects continued at the university. Thomas Hodges, professor of plant physiology, and his assistants were working with corn. The objective of their research is to develop methods for regenerating plants from single cells or protoplasts. A kernel of corn, one seed that contains one embryo, usually develops into one plant. In these experiments, 7 to 10 corn plants may be grown from one embryo of corn. The results of the research should be valuable in improving crops through genetic engineering techniques and should be useful for plant propagation. Students continue to use Purdue laboratories and classrooms to prepare for many different kinds of careers. While students in the School of Nursing were learning the skills of their profession, Purdue University was celebrating 20 years of nursing education. During the period, the program had grown from 30 students to an enrollment of 400, and from 4 to 34 faculty members. Students developed skills in construction surveying offered by the Department of Building, Construction, and Contracting. Advanced courses in the program emphasize the management of the men, money, machines, and materials applied to building structures. The Purdue women's volleyball team opened the season in the multi-purpose athletic complex by demolishing Notre Dame. A crowd of 710 fans watched the Boilers win in just 41 minutes. The team finished the season with a 26-6 record. That included advancing to the semifinal round of the Mideast Regional played in West Lafayette. An ice cream eating contest followed the Notre Dame football game on a hot September afternoon. 2.5 gallons of varied flavors of ice cream were available for each contestant. The Dieter's Nightmare was sponsored by the Purdue Memorial Union Food Services and an ice cream company. And it started. Cheerleaders appeared. The winning time was 5 1/2 minutes. The Purdue winner later creamed the winner of a similar Indiana University competition at an eat-off in November following the Old Oaken Bucket football game. Purdue University's Black Cultural Center sponsored its annual open house in the fall. A painting, Spirit of the BCC, was dedicated as part of the activity. Assistant Director of the Black Cultural Center, Robert Peppers, was the artist. Peppers and Anthony Zamora, Director of the Black Cultural Center, visited with guests at the open house. The new Krannert Center for Executive Education and Research faces the Purdue Memorial Union from the south side of State Street. It's located between the Krannert Building left and the Wesley Foundation right. The new building is expected to enhance the ties between higher education and private industry. Dedication festivities took place on the Friday of homecoming weekend. Purdue President Stephen Beering, Indiana Governor Robert Orr, and Acting Dean of the Krannert School of Management, Dennis Widenar, participated in the ribbon-cutting ceremony. The homecoming banquet was held in the ballrooms of the Purdue Memorial Union following the Illinois football game. Paul Gregan received the Alumni Service Award, given to individuals who have provided exceptional service to the Alumni Association. Gregan is a 1955 Purdue University graduate in chemical engineering. Jerry Ross and Don E. Williams, Purdue alumni and astronauts scheduled to fly space shuttles in 1984, presented a photograph to President Beering. The picture of the Challenger was signed by 7 Purdue alumni who currently are astronauts in the NASA program. The Purdue Alumni Association's Go Boiler Brunch in Lambert Fieldhouse attracted 550 hungry patrons before the start of the Northwestern football game. Events scheduled around the football game were changed when the kickoff time was delayed so that the game could be broadcast on network television.
The band of tomorrow, today.
At the games, fans saw the Purdue University All-American Marching Band. Valerie Ludwig was Purdue's Golden Girl. Janet Leary was the girl in black. In the final game of the season at Bloomington, it was Purdue 7, Indiana 7 in the second quarter, and the Boilers were moving toward a second touchdown. Senior Mel Gray ran for 5 yards. Senior Eric Jordan added 17 more yards. Rodney Carter ran for 3. And then the Big Ten's all-time passer, Scott Campbell, threw a 13-yard strike to junior Jeff Price for a touchdown. Purdue 13, Indiana 7. Point after touchdown by Tim Clark was good. Purdue 14, Indiana 7. Purdue went on to win 31-30. The 39th letter P was added to the old oaken bucket. In December, the Purdue musical organizations prepared for the 50th annual Christmas show. William Allen, director of the PMO, was in charge of the production, which played to more than 30,000 people in 5 sold-out performances in the Elliott Hall of Music. As 1983 drew to a close, students, faculty, staff, alumni, and friends reflected on a busy and eventful year and looked ahead to a time of new challenges and opportunities for Purdue University.